Good evening, children. In today's class, we are going to learn the literary devices used in the last two stanzas of the poem A Tiger in the Zoo, written by Leslie Norris. We have already learned the poetic devices used in the first stanza, second stanza, third stanza. Now we are going to the fourth one. So, in the fourth stanza, the poet had used the most common techniques called rhyme scheme, personification, and assonance, consonants, alliteration. So, rhyme scheme of this particular stanza is A, B, C, B, because the sound of the last word of the second line and the sound of the last word of the fourth line are similar to each other. Bars, visitors. So that's the reason here we use B, B for these two, and the sound of the first line and third line are different from each other and also different from the second and fourth lines. Cell, cage. So they were identified with different letters. So the rhyme scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, B. And coming to the most commonly used rhyme scheme, the poetic device is personification. Personification is nothing but personifying any object or an animal with the qualities of a human being. So here the tiger is personified as a human being. That's the reason the poet had referred him as he throughout the poem. Even in this particular stanza, it was mentioned as him, his, like that. And coming to the next two poetic devices used in this stanza are assonance and consonants. So first you need to understand the basic difference between assonance and consonants. So first I am going with assonance. Assonance means resemblance of sound. Resemblance means similarity of sound between between syllables of nearby words. What is that? Similarity between the sound of two nearby words. Here nearby means the word should be next to each other, or they can be divided by one or two words. It's not that they should be they are in the same stanza, but one word in the first sentence and the other word is in the second sentence, but they are having the same sound. Then we should not say assonance. They should be either next to each other or they should be near to each other, whereas one or two words are in between these two, and they should have the similarity of sound. So what kind of sound they should have? They should have the sound particularly from the rhyming of stressed vowels, vowel sounds. What are vowel sounds? A, E, I, O, U. So they should have the vowel sound. It can be any of these five vowels. And remember, not consonants, vowel sounds. So in this, the poet had used vowel sound E. So where did he use? He used this vowel sound in the first line. And if you observe the words, he locked in a concrete cell. So he is locked. They are next to each other. And in a concrete cell, they are also next to each other. And if you check all these four words, they are just separated with small two little words which are in A. That means they are nearby, they are near to each other, and they are not in different lines. They are in the same line, and most of the words are next to each other. Though they were separated with two small words. And here all these words have a vowel sound E. So we call it as assonance. So why poet had used assonance as the technique? Generally poets use assonance to create a sound of despair, sadness. And our tiger, which is in the jail, is really sad. And going to the next technique, consonants. Consonants is just opposite to assonance in simple words. Why is it? Because in assonance we are talking we spoke about vowel sounds, but when it comes to the consonants, it is the repetition of same consonant sounds. So what are consonant sounds? Except vowels A, E, I, O, U. Apart from all these 5 letters, the remaining letters in English alphabets are known as consonants. So use of consonant sounds in a line of text. Same concept, they should be next to each other or they can be separated with 1 or 2 words. They should be near to each other, but the sound should be a consonant sound. They should be in a same line. Then it is called consonants. So in this stanza, the poet had used the consonant sound S. If you observe, it is in the second line. His strength bars. Only his strength. These two are next to each other. Bars was separated from strength with a 1 word gap. So this follows the consonants technique. And the next concept is alliteration. Alliteration means use of sound B at the start of 2 words behind bars. Here also these 2 words are next to each other and these 2 words start with same letter. So which is called alliteration. And going to the next paragraph, next stanza. So in this rhyme scheme, ABCB, as usual, second line last word and fourth line last word, they give the same sound, cars, stars. So we use the same letter for them. And alliteration, just now we discussed, but here the poet had used a different sound, H. So how can you say that the poet had used alliteration? Because the sound is changing. It's very simple. These 2 words should start with same letter and same sound, and they should not be separated. He hears, H, and it is the sound also the same. So here any kind of words, they should follow each other. The beginning letter should be same. Then we call it as alliteration. And assonance, just now we spoke assonance, vowel sound. First rule. Second rule is they should either next to each other or they should stay nearby. Consonant sound, vowel sound, and they should next to each other or they should be in the same line nearby. So if you observe in this stanza, the poet had used I sound. In the previous one he used E sound, but here he used I sound, and that is with his brilliant, which is in the third line. With his brilliant, with his brilliant. And coming to the another technique which the poet had used here is enjambment. Enjambment is nothing but the line continues to the next line without a punctuation mark. That means there is a sentence. The sentence can be used in a single line, but the poet had not wrote that in single line. Instead of that, he continued the same. He made it into 2 pieces, one in one line, the other one in other line. That's the reason he did not use any punctuation marks. So why did he do that? Most of the times poets use this technique to maintain the rhyme scheme of the poem.